Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on our image editor. And today's task is trying to get like our first attempt at like a shader pipeline going on. So what are we working on? What are we working on? The idea here is that we have an image editor. It's supposed to be like GIMP in some way. It's not supposed to actually be very much like GIMP, but it's supposed to accomplish the same use case of I want to take some images, stick them together, maybe adjust some lighting, right? Maybe like write some text and draw some pictures on top, So like stuff that I would use for like my YouTube thumbnails or for if I'm trying to make like a joke for a gamer tag, right? I want to make my username Slurpy Bannister and I want to composite a picture of Cersei Lannister sitting on a banister holding a Slurpee. That's like you need a little bit of Photoshop skills or GIMP skills, but not like a lot, right? And I think that we can make a program that I find easier to use than GIMP. GIMP maybe is not it's not awful, right? And I could learn it, but it doesn't feel like it's doing what I want, right? And what I want, I think, is like a programmable editor that I can like go back in time, we'll call it, and change the past and have those things like apply downstream in the future. I want it to be kind of like non-destructive so that like any changes I make, um, if I do like a rotate, then a rotate again, then a rotate again, I don't want to like lose quality because I'm like subsampling pixels and linearly interpolating. I want it to be like that to transform itself into one big rotation. I like the idea of I like the way Blender presents things to me. I like the idea of like objects being paired to other objects, right? So I like, take this cube and I put it over here and I scale it down and I say like, please like link these two objects together. I can like rotate this cube now and that cube kind of like rotates along with it. I would like to have like objects in my editor that kind of function like layers normally would, but with this concept kind of attached to them. Right, there's a lot of things going on here. Maybe like shader editor as well, right? I want my thing to be shaderful, so that instead of like me having to go into GIMP and let's just like open like any picture, I guess. I think we have a sample one here, right? Like image.png, right? If I want to like make this thing blurry, right? Right into GIMP, I go into here and I go into like, I don't know, filters, like blur, Gaussian blur, and I like apply a Gaussian blur with like these specific parameters. What I prefer is like I know mathematically what I want a lot of the time, and I struggle to find what I want in in the UI. And so what we could do instead is we could present every action as a shader, right? So our shaders will have in a shader, you as a user could type a shader that does a Gaussian blur very easily, right? You just sample the things around you and apply an image kernel. Same with like a sharpen, same with a like edge detection filter. You can do all those things in shaders. And so what I want is to build our application out of these like primitives with a visible like pipeline. And so you can go and you can edit each part of the pipeline. So imagine like a cut and paste, right? I go in here, I cut the tree out. Fuck. Hit enter. God damn it. Hit cut. Hit paste, right? This is now two layers, right? I've got like this thing and this thing. And these two layers are kind of like made by, you can imagine like this flow of actions, right? I draw a path, which is my selection. That path is turned into a mask that is then multiplied by the image to create like the one side, and it's multiplied by the inverse of that thing to create the other side. And if we implement this cut and paste, so you go into the editor, you type cut and paste, and it generates this like list of actions. Now I can go back and I can edit this path, or I can tweak the mask that's generated, or I can like choose not to invert it, but to like maybe like blend it with something else, right? I can do all sorts of things with these primitives, and I want to just like show those in a UI and have them be editable. That's kind of like the idea. Then like this multiplication shader, I could change the shader, right? Instead of multiplying it, I could add. I could multiply by half, right? There's all sorts of stuff I could do. So that's the idea. That's the cell. And today's topic is trying to get any form of shader stuff working. So here is like what we have right now. We have an OpenGL window that can load some images and move them around. If we hit save, we have this like save format that just says like each thing has a transform associated with him and like he is loaded from this image source. And that's all we have right now. So today I want to start by like I think that the idea here of attaching a transform to an object is actually kind of wrong. I think that each object should be its own thing And the only time that you have transformations applied to an object are when they're part of a composition, right? You can either look at the whole image, i.e. like a mask or an image or whatever, any like image object, you can like look at that thing as its own thing, or you can like try to position it relative to other things. So the first thing I want to do is like restructure this a little bit to add the concept of a composition object, which would mean that we'll have now two object types. We'll have like an object that is loaded from an image or an object that is composed of other objects, right? Then I want to like add some UI so we can start like inspecting state of the application. I think that like once we have some form of UI that at least like shows the object list, it will start becoming like a little bit more clear what that means, right? So I'm imagining like a list. I'm imagining like you have like your editor. Hello. Wow, that was crazy. I'm imagining you have like the editor window, and then over here, like in Blender, you have like lists of objects, right? And when you click on one of the objects, it will like show that object over here somewhere, right? Then I'm imagining that like these objects will have like some metadata associated with them. So if it's like, if you click on a composition object, here it can show like the tree of objects that were like, that generated this thing, right? So it can say like, oh, I've got, this composition has object 1 here, object 2, object 3. When I click those, maybe it like highlights the picture that are being shown, right? So I like click on one and it like highlights it in yellow or something. I don't know. In like the path, if I'm like looking at like a image loaded from an object loaded from the file system, it can like show the path that it loaded from in here. And then once we have like kind of this, then we can start working on adding the idea of like a shader backed object, right? So this would show in here like maybe the uniforms that are passed into the shader, i.e. like is the shader pulling from another image object or like a color or like a UV value or something, right? We could have like sliders and stuff in here that parameterize a shader that is running. And so if we get to the point where we have like a shader working, then we can do something really simple, like try to apply like a box blur or something, just to prove that like the functionality is there. That's the plan. We'll see how far we get, but that's what I want to do. So step one, and we are at 7 minutes and 15 seconds in, is to add this idea of a composition. So let's just make sure that we are clean. We are clean. And let's go into the app and just try to figure out what that looks like. So right now we have, let's see, where is our like main stuff here? So we have somewhere a list of objects. That's reasonable. And how do we work with these things? These objects basically just have a transform and a source as well as like a texture that they are related to. So if we're saying that now our objects are no longer just a thing loaded from the file system, but like kind of like a generic object, this is almost gonna, this now kind of sounds more like a file system object, right? So this is, or like a loaded image object, right? So that's because this thing has like an image source coming from him. We're gonna have our like object now is gonna be like a union backed by an enum, right? And he's gonna say, I could be a file system object, and we should call this file system object actually. That feels like a good name for it. Who's gonna have a file system object, right? Or we could have a composition object. Composition? I don't know. They both sound right to me. Composition. It sounds like a no, right? Yeah, composition. Composition. So, okay. So what do these look like? I don't know. We'll figure that out later. So now I don't think the transform belongs on the file system object. Now the file system object is just a thing. It can only be full screen, right? Or at least full screen with some sort of aspect ratio. We might have to put aspect in here for everything to look okay. We'll figure it out. But our composition object will probably have like a list of objects, which will probably have like object IDs, right? Objects. So we're probably gonna have like object reference, composed object, I guess maybe, and he's gonna have like an ID as well as a what? Transform. Okay. Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. Now, we're gonna have like an array of these things. So objects is gonna be probably like a stood array list. Probably this thing is gonna be able to like support being modified. Is this like BI data ETL but for graphics extract transform mode? I have no idea. I don't know what half those words mean. We are just doing whatever seems reasonable to me. Well, make it unmanaged. Fuck it. Okay. And maybe that's kind of it. So we just have like a transform and an ID. Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. Okay. So then, I guess on initialization, in main, we're gonna init this thing, and we're gonna open these images, and we're gonna say these are not like these are no longer load image from path here. These are like maybe they are. What if we were to move this stuff here? So I guess now we're gonna have like file system object. He's gonna load the texture. This transform is not gonna be applied. No transform for you. But the rest of this stuff is pretty reasonable. Delete textures. He frees the source. This loads from a saved object. Which I guess now this saved object is just going to be a... I guess the saved object here actually doesn't need to be anything special because all this thing is tracking is like the source. So load actually looks exactly the same as it used to, as load from image path, right? So we can actually just call this load. He'll kind of figure out the rest. And then maybe save here also doesn't have to exist. Maybe. We'll kind of figure this out. Which means that in main here, when we pass in a list of images, we're just going to call file system object load, I guess. Okay. And then we are going to push this to the list of composition objects. Probably. So I guess the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make like a composition object. I guess, right? So he's going to return a composition object. And yeah, what's he going to have in him? He's going to just be like return nothing. We kind of just don't even, he doesn't even need it at all, really. This thing is public, so we can just be like, here's a composition object. And we go like app objects append this thing, right? So we go like composition is equal to this, I guess. I don't know. And then for each image in here, we're going to like append this thing. We're going to get his ID, which is just going to be app objects items len, right? We're going to push this thing. So file system image is this. Yeah. And I guess this is now needs an allocator. And then we're gonna append to the composition. So here we're gonna get like composition is gonna be like a reference to we actually just need his composition index because as we push things, this vector is going to move around. So we have to work by index, not by pointer. That's a mistake that's very easy to make. So we do this, and then here we go, app objects at composition index, composition dot objects append, right? It's like something like this. What the fuck? And he is getting the ID of this thing. And transform is going to be a transform dot scale or something, right? Let's just kind of, just so this doesn't fill up the whole screen and we have no UI to like change that. So does that compile at least? No, of course not. Of course it doesn't. Okay, so we need to fix up our like save and load. So can we like just save the union? Is that like totally fine? I guess we intentionally have to create like saved versions of the thing. So save data, he's got objects that are gonna be like save object, which I guess is gonna have to mirror this thing in some way, right? So he's gonna be like, I could be a file system object, which I only care about the path to this thing, or I could be a composition object. And this thing actually doesn't really have anything. I guess we can't use the array list here, so maybe we do like composed object here. And this thing just has ID and transforms. That's totally fair game. That's fair game to just save as is. So we have a bunch of these things as our objects as save objects. Cool. And then when we save this thing, how do we do that? We basically have to create a save object out of this thing. This thing calls save, which doesn't exist right now, but we can make that exist. That seems fine. So const object needs a function save here that returns like a save object, I guess. Sure. Which, sure. And we're just going to switch on ourself. And if we are a file system object, we return file system is equal to s.path or something. Source. There we go. And if we're a composition, we just return composition of C objects items. There we go. Nice. Nice. All right. 351 is mad probably because I can't. Can I not convert a sentinel terminated thing? Do I do like std mem span or something? Is this how I convert? No. How do I like convert sentinel terminated to zig sentinel terminated to slice? Is that like allowed? Std mem spans. Gimp panicked release V3 because they saw Svip coming. Hell yeah, dude. Can I pointer cast this? Is that legal? Pointer cast must have a known result type. Really? Save object. File system. Yeah, is it just. Maybe we try std mem spans? No? You're missing return? Oh, I'm just a dumbass. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, load from image path doesn't exist anymore. That's true. So this needs to be. Can I just not compile this for now? This is wrong. API. We don't need the lint script right now. That's just gonna cause problems for us. Okay, so composition is not the thing here. Is it not? What is it called? Composition object? Why are we so fucking stupid? Just call it composition, dumbass. Okay, app object has no item load and app zig 103. Yep. Oh. I guess there should be an object load. So we get the saved object back from this thing. And this, wherever the fuck we made this thing, is gonna have a load. Which is gonna come from a save object and return object. And I guess this doesn't take self. That's a lie. This is the save. And if we have save is a file system source, we do the inverse. We say return file system is equal to try file system object load s. Hell yeah, that looks pretty good. And the composition object, hello, what's he pissed about now? Return Right, like that. Okay, and the composition object, we need to make an array list with a copy of the slice. So this is going to be like stood array lists of composition objects, which means that we probably need an allocator here in order to do that. I think this load actually needs an allocator too, huh? Yeah. Composition object, initialize with allocator. And then we return, like, I guess it's like objects append slice of C, I guess. And then we just return composition is equal to objects, question mark. It's like something like this. Okay, why is save not used? Oh, fine, save obj, fine. Fine, little reuse never hurt anybody. Little name collision. Expected type this, found that, that's true. Does that mean I just save it null terminated? Is that like legal? That'd be kind of nice if it was. That just kind of makes my life easier. So let's just try writing this and just see if everything works. That'd be kind of sick. Texture, no field texture, 396. In object. That's true. Little whiner, this guy. And we can't append slice to a constant. God damn it. Writing code's hard, man. And no field name transfer on app object now. Okay, so at 142, what's going on here? Right, so when we're trying to find the closest thing, in reality, this should only happen if we are in a composition, right? We can only drag things around if we're in the composition view. But let's assume for now that we're always in the composition view. That will be the easy fix for now. And so we're going to look at objects, items. This is a hack. But it's fine. Obvious hack. Who guarantees composition is 0? Single composition at index 0. Like nobody, right? But shut up. For composition objects, it's just, we're just going over here. We have the objects composition objects at items at IDX, I guess. Sure. And then object should have a transform. I don't know why it's not highlighting. Object is a pointer to an object. Oh. Composition objects. Composition object. My objects, this index is wrong. He thinks it's a star object, but it's not. Pretty goddamn sure. Expected type composition object found composed object. 368. Oops. Fine. We're gonna be like that. 371 is mad because he wants an array list unmanaged. And we should probably error defer here, even though there's like not really a chance of this happening. We might as well just kind of protect ourselves in the future. Member function expected 2 arguments. True. So true right now. And there's no function dinit in app object, really? There should be. There's definitely dinitting to be done. There's definitely dinitting to be done here, so. I don't know. Surely this needs an allocator as well. If we are a file system object, surely it's fdinit alloc, right? Like, surely these are the options, right? So this thing needs a deinit, which he has. Nice. And then does our composition object have a deinit? No, but he should. Oh, this is also taking in the wrong type here. Nice. Nice. And this probably takes an allocator and says like self objects deinit alloc. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, how are we looking now? Close. He's mad at 104 because this thing needs to be variable, I guess, for that deinit to work. Does not support indexing at 168. 168. Hello. Maybe in main is where he's complaining. Yep. Okay. Member function expected 2 arguments. That's true. What else? What else? 56. Sure. We'll write the start here. Else prong required at 354. Holy. Why? Oh, because I didn't write dot star here. It's annoying. Okay. Object texture does not exist at 159. So on rendering here, we have to render differently if we're a composition or not. And really, we don't really want to, we want to render like the active object here, which doesn't exist yet. So we're going to say like active object is self object 0, item 0. Okay, and we're going to switch on this thing. And we're going to say if it's a composition, we're going to do this, what we were doing before, right? But we're going to have to go over each of the object IDs in the composition, right? Object ID, and then we're going to like get the object from self objects at object ID, boom, right? And we're gonna have to render this thing differently. So I guess maybe our render takes in, like this is kind of recursive, right? For now, I'm just gonna assert that we'll just say that it has to be a normal, like a non-composition object, because I don't want to deal with this right now. So we'll call this like, will we switch on this? Okay. And if it's a file system, we're chilling. Else we return an error. Cannot render. Sure. Maybe even log an error. Do not know how to render this. Okay, and this is a this. Okay. We're getting a lot closer for sure. Now we need to try rendering here. Okay. And then 158 in AppSig, I think. Yeah, here we have a composition object. Otherwise, we have a render object. And I guess here we'll just say else. This needs like fix me, refactor to... I guess we can kind of do this right now. We can say function render object, render file system object, right? With, yeah, it's fine. We were assuming the program is bound here, and it's literally just this, right? Now the transform needs to come from somewhere else. Okay. This can kind of come up here. We're using the same vertex array for every single image. It's just a quad that takes up the whole screen. And yeah, then we can kind of like bind this. This comes from composition object, I guess, and then this is composition object ID like this. Okay. Something like this, and then the transform gets bound as composition object transform data, like this, I think. Something like this. This comes up here, and we call render file system object with the object like this. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And then here in the else case, we just use the identity matrix. Right? Identity. We kind of like this. All right. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Something like that. Okay. Error unit ignored, which is just doesn't have to be there. LHS entered, so at 150, 115, set mouse down, finding the most likely object now just needs to be we need to like only check file system objects. So we're looking for the smallest thing. Can we like reject things from this argmin? Ugh. One. Fix me. Hack, hack, hack. No. No, I changed my mind. So the selected object, how do we use that? We index into composition objects with this way. So here we need to, when we are finding the selected object, this needs to go into the composition as well, right? So really, that's fine. So we'll put like a hack, forced composition index 0, not true, but we will say composition object is self objects items 0 composition. Okay, and now this becomes the context. I think that we need a little more context than this. So less than context is a struct which takes in a composition object like this and a object list objects of like this. Okay. As well as the mouse pause, I guess. Uh-huh. Maybe we just don't do it this way. This is getting too complex now. We'll just do a for loop. So for 0 to composition objects items len or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. We do this stuff, and we just take all of this back, and we say, current disks is kind of go from 1 here, and we look at the first thing first. Okay. If composition objects items is too small, if it's less than 1, we return Otherwise, we keep going. We look at the first one. We say that this is the closest. Closest index is 0. Closest dist is I don't know, composition, self, objects, composition, composition, object, composition, objects, 0.id. Yeah, that's starting to look right. He doesn't like that though, for some fucking reason. Probably because I have to type items here. That makes more sense. Now does this? Oh, I don't know, man. So we get the current distance is this thing. I guess we can just do this. Yeah, that's easier. Because then we can go 0 here. And then we can do this. Yeah. So self objects add composition objects items idx.id. Yes. This is going to be the transform, I guess. Comes from just this. Yeah, that kind of looks right. Center minus mouse pause. Okay, there we go. Then we say if dist is less than current dist, closest idx is equal to idx, and current dist is this. There we go. All right, do we build now? Closest idx must have a known type. Oh my god, I am so ready for this to be done. Format is mad. Oh my god, f reference trace. Come on, baby. Here we go. This is coming from main 126. That doesn't sound right at all. Oh, invalid format string s for type app object. Yeah, okay, so that's definitely not where this is coming from. Compiler, invalid format string. So what? Who is calling format? God damn it, dude. No one here? Oh my god. How am I supposed to find this? Invalid format string. What? Print. Report double free. Alligator. Hey, hope the stream has been good so far. Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. We've spent a lot of time on kind of just like data reorganizing, which is not super interesting. I wish I knew where this compile error was coming from. That's frustrating. So it's somewhere that's using like printing an object. This is asking for app object. So probably like someone printing something from objects. Oh my god, dude. Maybe an assert? No. Dude, I'm gonna lose my mind. Where does this come from? Is report double free? The answer is gonna be in the stack trace. I mean, this stack trace is like not very relevant, I feel like. I mean, it must be, but like he's saying that like I'm like at main 126, which is literally just like allocator generation. So it's like he's getting a little bit confused, I think. You know? What if we just like start bisecting like this? Surely this is not the best way. Yeah, I mean, since the stack trace doesn't contain any of these lines that we're commenting out, it's pretty clear this problem. So it's somewhere in here. Somewhere in here. Presumably app render. Yep. It's in here somewhere. Just a guess. Render file system object. So this isn't using anything. Active object, self object, item 0. Oh, here we go. It's this. Do not know how to render. Yeah, I'm just a dumbass. So can we do like any here? What a weird stack trace. I don't know, man. I don't know why it does that, but we fucking got there. Okay. And let's run this on image.p image. Did I read the error? Are you, dude? I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not an idiot. Look, tell me where in here it tells me which of the 50 fucking logs invalid string format string for string s. I fucking know that. I just don't know which of the like fucking 100 like there's no print state. It doesn't tell me like here like it tells me that the thing is in print, right? If we look for all usages of print in the entire program, right, none of them are where the error was. The error was in stood log error, right, which had a format string s. Sure, fine, right? But there's nothing that indicates to in that stack trace anything about an error log, right? It says that it's in print. I guess here it says error here. Fine. But this error trace does not come from where the error was called. So how the fuck am I supposed to find that? Right? It's like, it's fine. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's it's like misattributing where it's coming from, right? Which is fine. I don't really care. It's just like, what's main.zig 126? Oh my god, we've been here. Main zig 126 is like way up here. Really? It's like, I am getting an allocator now, right? And then the error is coming from down here in app render at 187. It's like it's not in the stack trace. That's probably a powered bug then. No, sure. I mean, I maybe, sure. I don't know. That would be my assumption. But it's annoying if you're just like, bro, just read the stack trace. I fucking did. It's fine, but okay, so this is not working, I don't think. Yeah, so he's got, I mean, he's like, the rendering of the composition is no longer showing what we expect it to. But he's also not crashing, which is kind of interesting. So that means he's like kind of calling this render file system object here. And it's just not really doing what we expect. Can we just like stood debug print here? Hello. I've seen thousands of stacks like that. I've seen thousands of stacks like that and that error a lot. I've never seen a stack just had nothing to do with the error. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I have. So like I knew. It's fine to be wrong. It's fine. But I'm not just an idiot. So what is happening here? Shouldn't he be like spamming? He should be like absolutely fucking spamming this hello. Because this should be happening. This should be having jokes on you. I'm just saying. No, I don't think you're like an idiot. I think it's reasonable to expect that to be the case. But it wasn't. Okay, so are we in here? No? Like, why the fuck not? Are we in here? Am I stupid? We call app.render in our main loop, right? In main? Okay, yeah, right. So this is getting, oh, maybe he only renders when I move the mouse. Oh no, he is. Yeah, okay, that's spamming now. I don't know. Oh, and there's like something showing. What the fuck is going on? I feel like mental, dude. What if I don't do that? Okay, yeah, we're back. Okay. So now the problem is that I can't really like drag stuff around anymore. Seems like. Yeah, okay. So what's going on there? Probably like selected object detection is probably not working correctly. So can we be like, first of all, let's get rid of this fucking print here. Can we do selected obj is this? Let's see if he thinks that he has one. Oopsies. Yeah, so even if I click there, he's never finding one, which means that on mouse down, we are probably not selecting one. Oh, because we just don't fucking assign it. Someone dumbass. That would do it. Okay, we're back. We're so back. We now have a composition object, which means that now we can start trying to show. I want to like show an object list on the side here, and then I can click one, and like if I click the composition object, then we show the composition view. But if I click on any of these like individual sub objects, then I'll just like show that full screen. Is kind of what I'm thinking. It's what I'm thinking. So let's do that. That took 45 minutes. Jeez. But what you gonna do? Couple questions. How long you been running Zig? What sort of projects do you start with? Are there any resources you recommend? I find myself scrolling quite a bit through the docs to find a way to do what I'm trying to like do. I'm not really much of like a docs reader, which has its downsides for sure. But the upsides are that I don't have to find docs. I'm much more of a just fucking run at the wall and see what happens. I've been running it for like maybe like 5-6 months. Not sure, maybe less, maybe more. It's archived. My initial hit at the language is archived in the YouTube under zlib and zig. This is where I first wrote it. So when was this? 7 months. 7 months. Yeah, I think just like the zig language reference is pretty good. Like the front page, when you look up like zig docs, this is a pretty good page. I would just start here and then just try stuff. You know, just try stuff. Okay. So I want imgui. Not because I necessarily think I'm going to stay with imgui forever, but it is like a very quick way to get up and running. This is pretty quick. How did we do this last time? The last project we worked with CIMGUI would have been probably maps. And what do we do here? Is this a submodule? We cloned this thing and then probably just kind of slammed it into our build zig. Yeah, we just threw this stuff directly in here. Sure. Sure, and then it looks like they had backends for OpenGL plus GLFW kind of already there. And then in here, did we do like native, I think was what it was called? Native glyphwa. We probably did like c.ig. Yeah, here we go. This looks like it. This looks like it. Okay, sure. Sure, so I guess we'll just kind of do something similar. Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. So can we just like get submodule add, I don't know, this? But I hate MGUI so much. I mean, it's not bad. It's like, it's a good, quick and dirty solution. I don't really have like a better one in mind for when I'm just like, please just like render some shit on the screen. Please, 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 please. Okay, so we're looking here. What do we do? Maybe I'll split here and leave smap open here since this is the last place we did it. Let's start with our old build zig. So it looks like we have a bunch of stuff in C, I'm GUI, C, I'm GUI, CPP. Oh, I see. So it goes in here, which we didn't submodule update. That's just probably why. Get submodule update init cursive. Give me what you got. Its owner takes people's PRs and rewrites them without giving the author any credit. People do that need to make dicks. That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a fan of forcing people to take PRs, but I do think that if you rewrite, I think it's fine for like maintainers to rewrite stuff. But I do think that there should be some sort of credit given in some way, like either tracked by Git or in the commit message. Somehow it needs to be tracked. But I'm not against just taking contributions and being like, I don't want that, but I want something similar. I think that's like pretty reasonable. Okay. Can I build? Okay. I guess we'll do this. Maybe this goes in app dependencies. Maybe. The other way to do that would be merge and then add the merge commit. Maybe. I think I'm probably against taking in commits from like that I don't like. I think I would probably amend their commits and keep the co-author in there, right? Because I think that you can have multiple authors, or you can have like author and committer. But then it's kind of hairy because he's like they're not technically the author anymore. Not sure. Not sure. Maybe leave it somewhere on GitHub. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Slap this thing in here. I guess we can't do that without a clipboard copy. And in here we delete this stuff. This stuff seems fine. And is that it? We need to add these include paths, I guess. And these come from B now, not self.b. Boom. And it looks like we want this as well, probably. What else do we do? Link lib cpp probably also needed. And anything else? Probably fine. Probably fine. I did all the same stuff, trying to figure out how it's actually reasonable behavior. I tried really hard to get benefit of the doubt, but couldn't make it work. Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, I'd have to look into it, but I think it is wrong to like take people's commits without any attribution. Like, it seems pretty wrong, but also, you know, I think it's also like, yeah, I guess it's bad. I was gonna say this is like your project, you can do what you want, but as soon as you start stealing stuff from other people, then it's no longer the same. Okay, so that compiled, which is pretty cool. So in our usage of this thing, native Gufwa, how did we use this? We included we did a C import of cimgui.h and cimgui-impl.h, I guess. And then what do we do? Somewhere we called this create context. So let's just kind of start here and see where that goes. Was it like this? No. Does that like compile in some way? No, because I'm GUI.h is mad. Do we have to do like a C define in here as well? We did. Probably need all these. Probably. Much better. Okay. And we still compile. Okay, cool. Cool. So now what? Somewhere we must like create a window or something in this application. We say init for OpenGL. using our GLFW window. So that's pretty actually like external, I guess. That's not really supposed to live in like our application. He's like kind of like GUI framework. He's kind of like GUI framework and GL provider agnostic, right? He's supposed to kind of just sit here and render OpenGL stuff. So this actually probably belongs more in main, to be honest. Probably. And I guess we'll just kind of do it over here somewhere. Fuck it. Sure. We'll just kind of slap that here somewhere. I forgot to copy. Okay. And these C things now come from IMGUI. Boom, 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 boom. What's he pissed about now? Window expected this thing, found that thing. Oh. Their types are colliding. So can we move GLFW into the same thing here, I guess, so that they don't collide, and then GLFW dot turns into C dot. I guess we can actually just do this. Const GLFW equals C. Const IMGUI equals C, and everything kind of just lines itself up. Nice. Okay. And then can we just get like a simple window or something? I assume that there's not one now. Cool. Okay, so how do we get one? I assume we have to like do some sort of IMGUI render. Right, so here they do like they being us call CIG render, CIMGUI impl open GL3 render draw data, CIG get draw data. All right. Does that do something? Forgot to call new frame. Sure. Fine. We will do that. Somewhere. Oh, jeez. Okay, and then presumably somewhere we are supposed to end the frame? Or does that kind of just come for free? Might just kind of come for free. Let's see what this does. Okay, so we're still chilling. Let's just try to do some form of anything. Can we just like create a window? Okay, so like here, boom, boom, boom. Can we like just like throw some text in there? Okay. Hello world. All right. And then CIGN probably. Does that give us something? There's a little hello world up there. Look at us go. Look at us go. Okay. So I want to render the object list, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. So maybe we go, I'm going to allow all of this stuff. I'm okay with me like sliding this thing around, which is working. We have to be careful about, our mouse movement should only happen if we're like not clicking this overlay. We've got some sort of like conflict here. That's kind of funny. So we have to do something that's like, we have to suppress mouse events in the case where we clicked on the overlay. Which is kind of funny. We must have done something like that in here before. So how did we do this? We would have done like, call on mouse move on the app kind of unconditionally here. So maybe we just didn't handle this in this case. There's probably some way to handle this, but I'm just not gonna worry about it right now. We'll come back to this. We'll put a fix me here and say only pass mouse actions into app when IamGUI does not consume them. All right, that's fine. Okay. I guess we can kind of do all of this here. So we render the app, then we render everything IamGUI on top. So then can we go like, for app objects items, we have some object. What are we gonna do? I don't know. We're gonna do like, why is my indexer not working? All right, that's annoying. So we want like a table probably. Do I just like look at the demo here maybe? Do they have an online demo? Sometimes they have like an online thing. It would probably be like a table here, where like whatever the fuck they have this like file thing. File. What is it in this picture? Simple layout. All right. Examples, simple layout. File. Here we go. So they have a menu item. I don't think that's right. I want like my object here. So they have a pane here. They make IamGUI selectables. That makes sense. That makes sense. So can we do that? We can go like selectable. Looks like we need to say, how do I like pick which one? How do I pick which one? IG selectable. Oh, that's annoying. Is there like a demo? Yeah, I mean, I guess it just has to be here. So this will tell us, we pass in if it's currently selected, and it'll tell us if it is now selected. Sure. So we will have to figure that out somehow. We're gonna have to like stash like the selected object, which is kind of name colliding with this selected object thing. So we're kind of we want like, let me think for a second. We probably want like a union of this thing, right? That says like, am I selecting a, if I've selected a composition object, then I have like some extra selected state. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe this selected object should just live in the composition object itself. Like we have like two selected objects now, right? One is like what we're clicking, which image we're clicking on the string, and one is like which object on the right on the selection bar we have selected. And I guess like the one of like within a composition which object is selected, like we can just kind of put that here, right? And then we can look at here and it's like we just kind of stash that here. Right, so here I guess we do the same thing. And then can we just do like, can we just wrap this in a function so that hack is kind of localized? So go like, get composition object comes from our app and returns a pointer to a composition object. And for now, we just do this fucking hack. That seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. And then this can be like, get composition object this. And then we can do it here as well. Yep. Okay. Where else? Unused capture, main zig. Okay. So now I guess we will just say we will look at each of these things. So what is it? IG selectable bool takes in the label. Object, we'll say for now, false. What else is in here? IG selectable bool, false, flags, and size. What is size here? I am GUI selectable. So they pass in, oh, they're optionals. So do they have like a default value? Probably 0. Would be my guess. Let's just start there and see what happens. Selected object here needs a default of null. Okay. And then it was IG selectable, maybe underscore bool. Closer. Expected type imvec2. So can we do like, oh my god. No LSP definitions found. Why, man? Why? Vec2. How does like, I guess I just can use this, huh? Do they have like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So here we'll go, where were we? Where were we? Main, IG selectable. We're gonna go like null size is gonna be a C vec2 0 something. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not called, it's imvec2. Fine. Fine. If you're gonna be like that. And then we need to do like this. Okay, value type pool ignored. Don't care right now. And no field name selected object 147 app. Yeah, so this is now composition object is self get composition object, and then this comes from composition object selected object. Okay. Are we back? Okay, so now we have a list of objects. He's mad for, you know, whatever reason, but you know, debug. Because I think that he uses the string of the thing as like a unique identifier or something. I think that's what he's complaining about, which is pretty funny. Could use push ID, pop ID in loops, or append to things to same label identifiers. Okay. So you're saying like C, IG push ID, and pop ID? I think it was capital T here. I think that's what he said. Nope. IG push. Oh, I need to push an ID manually. I see, so this thing needs like a unique ID. Fine. Everything's so hard, man. Maybe this isn't as quick and dirty as I thought. So I can do push ID with a pointer. String, push ID string, pointer, or int. Okay, so I guess we have to like actually make an ID. All right. Fine, if we're gonna be like that. This is fucking stupid. We'll call this object list with a number. All right, if we're gonna fine, yep. Uh, then this goes like uh, uh ID. Yeah, sure. Fine, fine. We're gonna be like that. And then we have to write stir at the end of this fucking shit show. Like that. All right, we have a list of objects. Let's go, baby. And now we have to like name them in some way. So I guess each object should probably have a name, huh? Like here, it's almost like this thing needs to be like a struct. It's almost like we need like pub const objects equals struct, right? And each object is gonna have like a name by default. Yeah, sure. And he's also gonna have like an inner object, I guess. I don't know, man. And I guess all of these functions are gonna live at the top level. Seems kind of reasonable. He's mad about a missing semicolon down here. Okay. And then here, I guess it's gonna be like everything that took in self is now looking self data. Okay. Okay. This isn't dereference anymore. And this is gonna be like our save object now. Every single save object needs a name now, right? Like he needs to save the names too. So this needs to be a struct, and he needs to have like this. He needs to kind of look mirror this thing same way, right? He looks like this. We have name is const u8, data is data like this. Okay, so now when we create these save objects, we have const data is equal to this, and then we return name is equal to name self name. Data is equal to self data. Okay. Seems reasonable so far. It's not self data, just data like this. Okay. Then on load, we have to go const data is equal to data. I don't know. I don't know. Break lock. Data is going to be a data, I guess. Yeah, okay, okay. This guy needs a block as well. And then we break block like this, and then we return. Name is equal to save object. We probably duplicate the name, right? We probably have to alloc dupe this thing. Almost certainly. Because the things it's referencing is probably coming from JSON parse data that will go to scope, and then data equal data. Okay. Surely there's other places where this now falls the fuck over, because we didn't try very hard here to get everything right. Composition in app object is at 183 in main. So now we need to give these things like this. Can we just name it after the path or something? This is gonna be a composition, I guess. You know, something like this. Something like this. And then we're missing a curly brace somewhere, probably here. Nice. Okay. Then we need to give him the same treatment here. So, oi, 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 oi. So this is gonna be try Alec dupe U8 of. I guess we'll just take the path name here. And then data's equal to this. Okay. Then he's mad, of course, about some other stuff. So let's see. No field name composition instruct app object 194. Right, so this is going to be data dot composition. That's fine. That kind of fixes that. Main zig 190. What was it? 194. Yeah. He's mad about this. That's a fucking gross piece of code if I've ever seen one. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? This comes from C object, so this needs to come from this. Okay. And then 172, we have some more problems. Self objects, items, data. All right. Everything is so painful already. But I guess this is kind of part of the pain, you know? He doesn't like this, I think. Needs to know the type. Expected type file system object found const-u8. Because these come from save object data, my bad. Okay, almost there. 150 data.composition. This should be actually a const composition is self get composition object because we're trying to isolate the hack. Oh, we're so back, baby. Okay, so we run this thing and now we have object, 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 but now we should be able to attach their names. So we need these things to be C strings. So can we do name buff? Actually, can we just do you think this copies it? I wonder if we can get away with doing this. Name is gonna be I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but for now we're just gonna write the object name here. And then write name here. Fix me. Surely buff print is the wrong answer here. Right? Surely. All right, there we go. We finally got there where we have, we can now click which of the things we want. And now we have to make it so that it selects one of them. Right, so here we're gonna be like usize, right? And we're going to start with this thing equals 0. Okay? So now in here we can just say if this thing gets selected, right? We're like, yo, could you set the app selected object to I, right? And we're gonna say that this is app selected object equals I. And that should keep track for us. Which one is clicked? Look at that. Look at us go. Right? Click, 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 click. Cool. And now we just have to make it so that we kind of switch behavior on render. Right? So here, our active object is now not this, right? It's selected object. Okay? And then that actually means that all the places where we were doing that hack are probably, we can probably like get rid of those. But if I click this now, that's starting to look, that looks like something, right? Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so now all the places where we had that hack for get composition object, we now just have to check if the selected object is a composition object, right? So here we'll just return this. We'll switch this to self objects items at self selected object. You know, we'll be like, this is going to return like an optional pointer to that thing. If it is a composition object, then we're fucking chilling, right? Else, we're fucking not chilling. We don't give a shit about that. Right? He's mad probably because get composition object now has to be like, or else return. Here we also have or else return, right? And then on set mouse pause, I think we just still stash the mouse position, but here we just say or else return here. Okay. Why is he pissed? 151. Because we fucking did it again down here for some fucking reason. We're just a dumbass. Okay. One more, 192. Why is he pissed? Switch on type app object. Oh. Fine. Fine. Okay, so now we're in here. We can move stuff around. And then here we click and drag and we go back here and nothing's moved. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So that's kind of this and this done. And I don't know, sometime before now. And now we should kind of show object metadata. I think I agree. I think I agree that object metadata would be good to have here. So I also think that probably directly setting this, I'm not really sure if we should have like APIs for this. Maybe it's fine. Not really sure. In the future, we'll take a look at it. Okay, so I want like a second frame here. Right, where we have like, not frame, sorry. Like a second window. Right? This is gonna be the object properties. And I guess this is gonna be object list. Okay, and what are we gonna put in this is gonna be like, depending on the object, so we're gonna look like app selected object, right? Like here, right? And we're gonna switch on the data here. And we have a file system object. We're literally just gonna write like ig print. Is this file system? Is this how we do this again? I can't remember. And then we have composition. Okay, and we have composition here. No, ig print is not the right thing. Ig text. If only my indexer was working and fucking I had completion. Okay. Yeah, so we have object list and object properties. So if I click on composition, it says composition. If I click on the file system, it's the file system. Hell yeah, dude, we're getting somewhere. That's pretty sick. And now we can make it so that it says in here what it is, right? So we can say, if we have this, is there like a table probably is what we want? How do we do that? I'm sure we've done this before. This isn't really what I want. I'm GUI demo.cpp table. Give me like a begin table. Here we go. That's kind of more what I want, huh? So we set the columns. So we just go like, give me the next column. how do I like reset to the beginning? Next row, next column. I see. I see. So it was I begin table, right? Was it? Fuck. Yep. Yes, it is. Okay. See, IG begin table. We want table. We want 2 columns, and we want no flag or something, right? We say next column. And let's just say this is the like key value or something. Let's just kind of, then we go like C, IG next row. We go IG next column. This is going to be source, right? And then we're gonna have f source, but we need to turn this into a null terminated string, so whatever. S here, f source, and fix me buff print. Not sure. There we go. Probably top pointer. No, we just write source. No, we do need a source pointer. There we go. Okay. How's this looking? How's this looking? Okay, what's he pissed about? IG begin table. Expected 5 arguments. Okay, so what are we looking at here? I'm GUI dot h begin table table begin begin table. We have the null. We just have to set zeros somewhere. Okay. Begin table. So we want the begin table. We want the null size and 0. That should fix it. What else are you complaining about? Begin table, type of bool ignored. So fix me ret check. It's fine for now. Next row. Really? Next row? Oh, IG table next row. Fine. Fine, if you're gonna be like that. But I think it was just maybe the next column wasn't like that. He's only complaining about row. ID table next row, really? He expects a flags and okay, so can we just write 0 twice here? Certainly, right? Certainly. Okay. So here he's fucking up. Maybe we're not supposed to immediately do... Are we supposed to set up like columns? I can't remember. I am GUI demo. So he begins a table and then he just starts like slapping... Yeah, table next column. And then he ends table. So he immediately does an IG next table. I guess we need to do table ret. Can we just like assert this is not 0 for now, just to see. He does correctly return a bool, which is pretty cool for us. Yeah, that seems fine. Am I supposed to next row off rep as well? No? What am I doing wrong? Can I write just like fucking write some shit before the table just to see? Hi, mom. Everything's so hard. Yeah, so we see the hi, mom, but the table is like totally missing. So what's going on there? What's going on here? Do we forget to IG end table? We didn't. Oh my god. Seems reasonable so far. Begin table. So he... Yeah, what the fuck am I doing wrong? 3 columns here. He goes... can we look for like an example of next row? Table set of column. Table next row. Table next column. Oh. I'm not definitely not typing table next column, huh? That's maybe related? Hello, why are we freezing? Thank you, thank you, thank you. There we go. There we go. Okay. Image 2. So that's giving me some information, which is kind of fun. Right? Right? Not that bad. Not that bad. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more to handle here. But we're starting to see the semblance of the editor. Out of curiosity, how much have you written? Can you sell me on Zig as someone new to language? I really want to like it. But I find the long compile times and velocity a hard stomach. I mean, I don't really feel like... I think use what you want to use. I'm not going to like try to convert you. I don't really care if you use Zig or not. I like it. That's about like that's all I need. If you tried it and don't like it, then like I doubt you're missing much. I think you just probably don't like it. You know? I don't know. I think that like I'm just curious to know why you like it. C has a lot of foot guns. Zig to me feels like what C++ could be if it was made today. That's just kind of like hand wavy, right? It's simple. There's not a ton of stuff to like, it has like things to help you, right? No implicit casts is great because the amount of times that I've written bugs from implicit casts are a lot, right? Things like automated safety checks in debug mode, right? Where like your default allocator, he sets things to 0x AAA everywhere for you, so it's easy to recognize when you're using uninitialized memory. There's like overflow checks automatically, right? Like they're kind of like the safety features from Rust applied to C++ are kind of there for Zig as well, but without some kind of like the pain of having to write Rust at the same time, right? We don't have like the borrow checker, but it's a lot better than nothing, you know? You know? So I don't know. I like it. I like it. Okay, so I guess we have some object metadata. And I think that means that we can start trying to add the concept of like a shader backed object. Because then we can start trying to like apply a shader to a thing. And that should actually be a lot easier now that we've done all of this scaffolding stuff, right? So can we say like UI stuff? Okay. And like can we maybe we don't do shader objects right now. What if we just apply like any transformation? Does that make sense? Ah, shader's fine. Fuck it. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. Let's do it. So what we want to do is in appzig, we want to have like a new object type. And the object is going to like apply some shader to its input, right? So we're going to have this thing as like a shader. Okay. We're going to have a shader object. And what's it going to do? He is going to take in. Let's say that right now our shader object has to apply to an image. That makes things a little easier. If C is a loaded shotgun, Sig might be an air rifle. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so our shader object is going to have input image is going to be a object ID. which maybe we should be strong typing. Just to make things clearer for myself, because we're going to have IDs for lots of stuff floating around. And we're going to have like the shader source. I think we're just going to throw that here. So the shader source can be like this, and then we can have the shader is going to be a CGL uint, right? Now what? We're probably going to have to free this shader source. I'm hopeful that compile times will soon improve as incremental compilation is the main focus of current 0.14 release. Hell yeah, dude. My main gripes are verbosity. I really like try, for instance, but I like making it a single postfix character. Would clean up language a lot. So I think that like there's an intentional design decision here where I think I've read somewhere that Zig people are say that they want bad things to be painful, right? So that's why some of like the like int casts and stuff, they kind of like are annoying to write, but it's like kind of good too because like you kind of want to be careful when that stuff is happening. Standard library does weird things like assert not working really fast. That's like a totally normal C thing too, right? Though, like I think that the assumption that asserts don't happen in release is like I would be more surprised if they did happen in release. Like I think that's been a thing since C. But try isn't a bad thing, but it's good. It is a good useful thing that is painful. I don't think that typing try is painful. I think that like surely if you like what you want like one character instead of 3. I don't know, man. 3 characters is like pretty small. I think it's good to know that you're propagating errors, so maybe I'm misunderstanding your like pain with it. It adds too much noise. I mean, I don't know, it's personal. I don't know what to say. It's like, do you just like return as well? Because like that also, that means more about readability. But like readability is like a made up metric. like something that like you consider readable is really just like what you have seen more of, right? I think if you're getting tripped up over the word try, you're being like way too critical. Like way too critical. Like yeah, it's I think being aware of where your thing is returning errors. I feel like that's like saying that return is noise, and it's like it's not noise. It's like a control flow thing. You need to have a. Yeah, I've written enterprise driver. 3 extra characters are not the issue. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine. I guess here we probably need to like free the shader too, right? But I'm gonna handle that later. Okay, so I guess when we render this thing, we're gonna have to like how does this, what do we call this? We call it just like shader, probably. Data shader, yeah. So like, surely here we're going to like take the input object, make it a sampler, input texture. Oh, it's an object ID. So if we have like, const input is self objects at this input image ID, right? Which means that this has a texture already, right? Pretty sure. I guess we will check what type of thing this is. So we're gonna assume that this is like a file system thing for now. So maybe we'll do this. Panic. Do not know how to run shader on this thing. Okay. This is a runtime value, so this doesn't work. But I think you can do this. Is this what I'm supposed to do? We'll see. Everyone's gonna be mad at us for adding this new type. So first, but let's check this out. Input. Switch on type app object. Right, so this can be on input data. And expected enum or union found composition object. Okay, sure. So can we do like, is it tag payload? Discard of tag capture? Oh, is it the other way? Cool. Okay, now we have other of these. So file system obj is this, and then we have file system obj dot texture. Cool. So we have this thing. And I assume that we're gonna have to do like gl use program. Okay. So we're gonna use the program in S, I guess. Right? I guess this is a program, which means that this is like a program ID and then fix me strong type, I guess. And then we just fucking render it. We just call render file system object. That doesn't seem crazy to me, except that this binds the object texture as texture 0, which is kind of wrong. It's kind of wrong. We kind of just want to do something else. No, we do. Yeah, wait, I guess that is fine. So we bind this thing as the input. We just run a different program on it. Yeah, that seems fine. Seems fine. And so now, what? I guess we need to compile this program somehow when we make the shader, but that will come up pretty naturally. So let's go to main 240. This is talking about object properties. So for now, we'll just say fix me log something interesting, like uniforms, etc. But for now, we're just going to be like shader. Okay, what else goes on here? Handle all possibilities at 407. I was going to say that I have a great deal of respect for you and your craft. Oh, thank you. That's nice. I shouldn't have read that out loud. It's like jerking off in front of a crowd. But appreciate the nice words. Okay. We need one here. So shader, we're going to have to make a save object with the shader that probably has like God, how does this look? Yeah, like this, a little better. And then what goes in this thing? Inline else. Yeah, you saw that one? I learned that one from you. So what goes in this save object? It's probably like, we just kind of need the input image and the shader source, but we don't store the shader. Oh, that's probably fine. Yeah, okay. Sure. So now what? I guess whoever was saving this thing just kind of propagates those guys along. So he's just like, input image is equal to C input image, and shader source is equal to C shader source, I guess. C might be a reserved, we might have already an import called C, which is a little scary. 433, we have another one here. What happens here? This is on load. I guess we need to figure out how to like extract that information. So shader goes to S, we have a block, and we have to figure out how to make this thing. So that means we need to compile the program. So can we change this compile link program to take in the shader source and the fragment shader source? Okay. Then this takes in the like vertex shader text, fragment shader text here normally. And then for now, here, I guess we want to pass in the shader source somehow. So here we probably want to do like compile link program with the typical vertex shader, but with our custom fragment shader. That seems kind of reasonable. Kind of reasonable. And then we just return break block with shader is equal to program, whatever. And then what else goes in this thing? What else goes in this thing? Input image and shader source, which are just copied. Surely we have to copy these though, right? Probably. I don't know. Not really thinking about this too hard. Right, which means that this D init, is he freeing the shader source? He is. See, this thing doesn't need to be duped. So just like this. All right. That built? Okay, can we like add a shader then? Like just off rip here, can we be like, we'll just kind of assume here that if we are pushing images, we will push a shade, we'll push a blurred image unconditionally. How about that? How about that? So let's make a blur shader, I guess. Or for now, we'll just kind of do like a normal shader. How about that? How about that? We'll start there. Maybe we invert the colors. That's easy. That's easy. We'll just swap two color channels. We'll swap two color channels. That's an easy initial trick skis. Swap colors frag. Okay. And here he's just gonna be like vec4 frag or out intermediate temp. There we go. And then we say fragment is equal to vec4 of temp y, temp x, temp z, temp w, right? And if this works, then we are in a good fucking spot. So we need a shader object. We need a way to like construct this thing. Okay. So what does he take in? Maybe this is just an init with input image and shader source. Okay, I guess, I don't know. This returns a shader object, which basically did whatever we were doing before. We're making demo scene tools now? Sick. I don't know if this is a demo scene tool. That sounds cool, I guess. Can we just... yeah, this is shader object init with input image and s shader source. Nice. Try. And then this kind of comes down here somewhere. Where the fuck we did this? Boom, boom. Return. Boom, boom, boom. And then here we just need a shader source like this and input image like this. And we need an allocator, of course. Of course we do. How could I forget? Okay. Okay, so then we have shader object in it somewhere where we need to pass an allocator here. And then in main, we should be able to just be like, let me huck a shader object in there, right? So for each of these, we will be like shader, boom, shader object, boom. And then this is like, I'm gonna take the fucking ID and I'm gonna use the invert frag swap colors fragment shader. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, so The name needs to be, we need like a, stud format. We need like a swapped name is equal stud format something alloc print with the allocator, and we do swapped like this, and then this gets the name of path, and then we do try this and we get swapped name, boom boom boom. We probably need to do like, there's probably some error defers to go on here. Error defer alloc free swapped name, whatever. I don't know, man. We're being a little fast and loose with it. Okay, so now we have PNG swapped, but they're showing nothing. So can we like not do the color swapping? Like, what if we just use app frag, the like fragment shader embed in here? Fragment shader text. Like, just for now, what if we just make this pub and we do fragment shader text? This will give us a clue on if our fragment shader is broken or if the like concept is broken. So yeah, concept's broken. So how do we fix that? This thing is initialized. Is he initialized before OpenGL? No, OpenGL should be ready to go at this point. He compiles and links a program. He gets the input image. Okay, so it must be here. We're not binding the texture. We are. We do bind the texture. We GL use program. I kind of do feel like that's kind of fine. I guess it kind of seems like this GL use program should kind of go. I wonder if like we need to do like this. Do we have to do this here as well? Is the binding of a vertex array related? I guess also the like locations are probably different, even though we, yeah, we're like kind of, we probably have to like make a different vertex array for this program, right? Because the vertex array, we bind attributes to these like locations that come from the program. So maybe we like wrap this in like a program. Maybe. I don't know, man. Well, I guess let's can we just kind of do, give me a sec. Temporarily. Can we just kind of like slap some stuff over here? All right, just do a little bit of this. Boom, boom. Okay, and then we don't need to do this. The buffer already exists. Maybe we do need to bind the buffer at the very least. It's already bound. I think that's probably fine. So we just bind it and then we just kind of throw this shit at it. I wonder if this like changes behavior at all. No, still no. It would probably be nice to show. Okay, yeah, let's change the approach a little bit. Undo. Okay, so this stuff lived up here before. Okay. So what if just whatever we did on init here, we just also do down here, right? And we just like store this shit as well. Right. Just in case. Just in case. Let's start here, and then we can always try to walk it back if we don't need it. Transform location. Right, we can always walk it back. So can we then do... Oh, we should also probably do this. That actually seems kind of relevant as well. Okay. Okay. Let's, oh god, oh god, oh god. Here, CLGL int. Okay, and then here. I think that seems kind of okay. Seems kind of okay. Then here, I kind of feel like this should go like S vertex array and S transform location. Maybe? That's really good. That's really good. Okay. Can we use our swap colors fragment shader? Oh, let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. So now we have the ability to run like a custom fragment shader. I didn't check, we haven't like tried like saving for a little bit. But we do have like our fragment shader stored in here, which is good. And if we try to load this thing, it's still working. That's also really good. That's really fucking good. Oh, that's mega good for us. Now can we like compose? I want to like compose this thing. So can we do like a 157.30? Add composition, compose shader created. Okay, let's just kind of see what happens there. So I just want to add to the composition like the extra thing. I don't really know. I assume that this won't work. We can't load the save. We're trying to do image 1, image 2. Yeah, so here he's mad because he cannot render. Because he doesn't know what to do with this thing. So if he has like shader, I guess here, like, we kind of just like bind the program again. We kind of just do what's down here. So can we sorry, I'm just kind of thinking. It is just kind of render file system object. So here can we do like function setup shader. Okay, here we go. Setup shader. Set up shader, and we take in a set up shader for rendering. Kind of just do this, right? Right. This stuff. Or maybe like, maybe more we want like render parameters. We almost want like render parameters for file system. Yeah, we want to like extract common render parameters for these. And until then, since I don't really know how that's gonna look, I'm just gonna do this. Fuck it. Blaze it. So we're just gonna do this. Copy all of this and literally paste it in here. And we're just gonna be like block. And here we're gonna be like break block file system obs. And then I think everything else kind of just works for free. Can we just say like fix me dupe with top level shader render? But otherwise, I think that kind of works. So now we have a composition of our it's almost right. Almost right. I feel like maybe we need to bind in this thing the default. That's kind of what I'm feeling like. I feel like it's like some sort of like ordering thing is causing problems. So can we just do like self program, self vertex array. We don't need to do this transform location thing. And then really this thing needs to do it kind of here and here because the transform location is going to be different for each of these programs, theoretically. So in reality, we should just do this up here too. Fuck this like break block. To be honest, does seem a little better. Does seem a little better this way. 171. He's mad about this. That is fair. And this goes away. Okay. 1. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Look at that. That's kind of cool. So we are like, we can look at our composition. He's composed these 4 objects. We can look at each of these individual 4 objects on their own. I think that's some pretty good progress for the day. And I think that hopefully this is starting to like show, like hopefully there's like a semblance of what I'm like trying to make coming through here, right? We have an image here. He's loaded from the file system. We have this thing that is like literally created from this other image, right? And we can like compose these things together, and like that just means that like we're kind of close to being able to just do whatever we want, right? As long as we're not trying to like mask out an image. Well, we could even mask something. But like we can. Yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together. Pretty exciting stuff. I think that is a good place to call it for today. I think next up is probably going to be trying to do like paths and masking, right? So try to like cut out the tree or something and do something with that. But probably there's also at some point we might want to do like compositions of compositions. I think that's probably not supported right now, right? So we might want to like kind of set all of these guys like relative to each other and then figure out how to render, like do like a nested render of some form, right? I don't know, we'll figure out. Like what if you want to like kind of like orient these things well to each other and then like rotate the whole block or something like that, right? There's probably something we can do there. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Really happy with that. Good progress for today. So thank you for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 12:30 Pacific time to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 4:15 Pacific time now, so anywhere between around 4 hours ago now is when you would expect to see us live. We are working on this image editor right now, but there's other stuff in the history if you want to check that out. There's a YouTube link in the Twitch description, organized into playlist. There's lots of fun stuff in here if you want to check them out. GitHub link in the Twitch description. This will end up under the Svimp repo. Eventually, I think there's a little bit more cleanup to do before I can push this stuff, and that will be covered in tomorrow's happy hour, the 12:32 segment. If you're watching the YouTube VODs and you're like, I want to see the 12:32 segment, you either have to catch us live, or they are archived on Patreon or under YouTube member streams or VODs or whatever. Is that it? Like, subscribe. Classic streamer stuff. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. YouTube, peace out, and Twitch, let's find someone to raid.